What's going on, guys, and welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be taking a look at every single June LEGO Harry Potter set coming out. Now in total there are 7 of them that we're going to be going over and reviewing today. I want to give a huge thanks to the LEGO group for sending over all of these Harry Potter sets early for review. Now we're going to be going over every single one in today's mega review, but I will leave timestamps down below in the description if you guys want to go ahead and check out an individual set review. But we're going to be going over all 7 of them in today's video, so definitely buckle up. Harry Potter hasn't been a big part of this channel here, but it is a huge part of my childhood, so I'm very excited to get on into it. Now let's go and start off first here with the Hungarian Horntail. This is set number 76406, comes with 671 pieces, ages 10 and up, and will be retailing for $49.99 here in the US. This is very similar to the Phoenix and the Hedwig. The base of the actual set itself here resembles some sort of rock work. You of course have the golden egg and then a really cool piece that says Hungarian Horntail. This is gonna definitely be more so a display piece for you guys. It does come with a Harry Potter minifigure. He is just up in his Goblet of Fire attire. He does also come with his wand and a bunch of other cool iconic stuff. Of course, his broomstick that he is sort of levitating and trying to fly away from the Hungarian Horntail. He's attached by a transparent piece, which of course resembles the idea that he is flying, which is really cool. There's a really nice, uniquely colored blue-based flame piece in this Hungarian Horntail, which I love. And then the wings are actually constructed using some of these Lego cloth pieces that are sort of semi-connected by a bunch of different pieces that we would otherwise see in sort of trees and other tree trunk pieces such as that. So the construction of the wings is super nice. Along here, the back of the neck, you have different variety of details, including some spikes around the head, the neck, and sort of going down the spine of the entire dragon. And then as you move towards the back and the tail of the Hungarian Horntail, all the segments are connected by essentially ball joints. So there's a lot of options for customization when it comes to what angles you want to have portrayed for the different parts of the Hungarian Horntail. Now the biggest part, the best part about the set, of course, is the play features. Like we said, this isn't necessarily a play set. It's definitely more oriented towards display, but there is a crank that you can use that will fold the wings up and down as if it is flying, which looks really cool. The only downside is I've had trouble sort of getting the wings to stay upwards as if it's being displayed. It kind of gravity sort of pulls everything down, but overall this is my favorite set of the entire wave of Harry Potter. It being a display definitely makes me love it more. Now next we're going to go ahead and talk about the smaller set. This is the Hogwarts Carriage and Thestral set number 76400, 121 pieces, $19.99 here. Comes with 2 minifigures, 2 Thestrals, and overall a really nice set. Now if my knowledge is correct, Thestrals are beings in Harry Potter that you can only see if you've ever seen Death, as dark as that sounds, but I do want to talk about a lot of great details included in a very affordable $20 price point. There is of course a baby Thestral and a big Thestral, but there are 2 minifigures here. Of course we have Luna Lovegood on the left and Harry Potter on the right. Luna has a sort of lavender top with a little bit of a tan base for her torso and legs. Harry Potter has a sort of blue denim jacket over his regular Hogwarts clothes, both of which look really nice, especially with their characters, and Luna does come with mid-posable legs, which is very important. There also is a printed Quibbler tile. The Quibbler, I believe, is a newspaper or article piece that is headed by Luna, if I'm not mistaken, but it looks really nice. Lots of bright, beautiful, and vibrant colors. There also is a small little tree vignette just to add some more detail and stuff like that to the scene, which has some nice details like the apple and the mushrooms, and then there is the main carriage. Now, comfortably, you could probably sit anywhere between 6 and maybe 7. The details on the cart are great. It also is very close to minifigure scale, so if you are doing any stop motions or anything like that, it's going to scale really well to what actual minifigures look like in real life. But again, I really want to stress the Thestrals. They are super cool and super detailed. I love the printing on these guys. I don't know if they're new or anything like that, but it's definitely the first time I've ever had Thestrals in my collection. But it is an affordable set from my favorite movie, so what can possibly go wrong? Now next we're going to go ahead and take a look at the Courtyard Rescue. This is set 76401, 345 pieces, 3 minifigures, recommended for ages 8 and up. Now let's talk about the minifigures. Left to right we have Hermione, Harry, and Sirius Black. Of course they are all really dirty, really muddied as we see them in the film numerous times. Hermione has the blue legs and the pink top, Harry Potter with the navy top and the tan legs, and Sirius Black with the sort of prison jumpsuit outfit in gray with lots of different dirt. So details overall on these minifigures are fantastic. And right up there with the iconic minifigures, or figures I should say, characters, we have Buckbeak, of course, the hippogriff. Now he does have posable wings, which is nice, and it also does come with pieces that you can use to sit someone on top of it, obviously recreating the scene when Sirius does escape. There also is a small little 4x4 round plate that has some details like a barrel, and a chicken wing, other cool stuff. But the main part of the build is definitely going to be the tower. Now, the tower is a little bit lackluster, but it does start off at the very top with this sort of iconic sand green architecture that we're used to seeing with Hogwarts stuff. There are some printed stickers going on the sides to represent details and vines and masonry brick. You'll also see that there are 1x1 Technic bricks. These are modular sections, so when you do get more sets, you can actually combine them, which is something that I think is really, really cool. You can combine these with existing sets as well, so that is one of the big selling points of the set in particular. Now, for me personally, it's not really super crazy because just I'm not really a fan of playscale sets like this. I'm not going to be actively playing with my Lego set, but there are some fun details. On the top here, you do have the prison cell where Sirius can go in, which is a nice touch, obviously very accurate to the movie. As you go towards the next level here, you do have a table with a broomstick and a quill, which is really nice. Just some really fun details from Harry Potter that are nice. And then as you go towards the very bottom level here, you have a pretty funky staircase, which honestly is not my favorite way of doing spiral staircases because it does kind of move and is flimsy, but you get the idea, of course, of what it is supposed to be. But overall, the Sirius Rescue from Prisoner of Azkaban is definitely not one of my top of this wave, but it is a nice way to get some pretty cool minifigures, and of course is a great iconic scene from, I think, one of the best regarded books and maybe even movies. Coming up next here, we have the Dumbledores Office, set number 76402, 654 pieces, recommended for ages 8 and up at $79.99 here in the US. Now, lots of cool minifigures, definitely an interesting set when it comes to think of it, but this does actually attach to the previously mentioned set that we just talked about as well, which is a nice touch. We'll go ahead and talk about the minifigures here. We have the 3 staff members, Professor McGonagall, Professor Snape, and of course Albus Dumbledore. Lots of great details. I absolutely love the Minerva McGonagall hat. Again, these are not things that I have in my collection, so this is my first time seeing it. Details across the board are very solid on a lot of these minifigures. The next minifigures included are going to be Filch. We also have Filch's cat, and then Hermione and Harry, both of which do not have mid-pulsable legs. They are just straight up mid-legs, which is a little bit disappointing, but the detail otherwise for their Gryffindor robes are super nice. Filch looks amazing. I love the ruggedy details on his torso, which is absolutely fantastic. And Harry also does come with the invisibility cloak, which is nice, and the lantern. I believe this is supposed to recreate the scene when he sneaks into the library in the restricted section and he almost gets caught, which is a really nice nod to the movies that I've seen. Starting at the top, you got the iconic sand green architecture from the top of the towers at the Hogwarts. You also have a lot of cool details such as these reddish brown windows with these gold panes that you could see as well throughout different parts of Dumbledore's office. There also are some pretty cool pieces that are representing vegetation and other sort of lively aspects and details of Dumbledore's office itself. Architecture overall pretty solid, definitely stays consistent with the previously mentioned Sirius Black's escape, which is very nice to see the consistency. And of course, you see those 1x1 Technic pieces that you can use to combine the sets as well. There's a pretty nice interior. At the very top of the tower here, you have the Sword of Gryffindor hoisted up. Now, right below it, you have his pensieve, and this is actually really important in the story. It's where you go to see all the cool memories and stuff. It is represented by a white little goblet, which has some pretty cool detail. And then you have Dumbledore's office, which is packed with awesome stuff like his desk. You also have Fawkes as like a baby Fawkes, which is kind of cool. You have the sorting hat and a bookshelf right behind in the backdrop of his office, and just lots of cool and fun details, including a platform that the entire desk is hoisted up on, which looks really nice. And then right below it here, you have the library, the restricted section. Again, this is where Harry Potter went to try and find some really cool information and almost got caught. But overall, detail in the interior is pretty solid on this one. On the right here, you do have some more stickered stuff, some details, some desks, other cool little things like that that are sort of sprinkled throughout the rest of the set itself. Overall, Dumbledore's office is a pretty solid set. I think where the set truly shines is the amazing minifigure selection, and of course the fact that it is modular with any of the other creations we have mentioned so far. Up next here, we have possibly my second favorite set of the wave. This is the Shrieking Shack and Whomping Willow. This is a tongue twister. Set number 76407, 777 pieces, ages 9 and up for $90 here in the US. Beautiful detail on this. I do want to say it reminds me very much of Hogsmeade, which is one of my favorite sets from Harry Potter. You have a lot of these wooden tiles representing different aspects and architectures in the wooded area, and then the shack itself is created on so many different angles and so many different details that it looks so nice to look at, especially contrasted with the colors of the snow. And then when you also take into account the details on the roof, again, very similar to the Hogsmeade where they're representing the snow and the snowfall and the layers of snow. And then you also have this larger chimney with some stickers. Again, just lots of really fun details. It kind of looks like a mock, which is why I hold this set in such a high regard. Now, as you go towards the minifigures here, you do have some repeats as we've seen before. We do have Harry Potter and Hermione, who I believe are the same exact ones in the Sirius Rescue, but then we also have Ron Weasley. So you do get the trio, which is nice. Again, solid minifigures, but there are some repeats in this wave, which is slightly disappointing. Then this set shines right here with all the Animagus. I think we have Sirius Black, of course, the dog he transforms into. We also have Professor Lupin and the werewolf, which uses new printed Demogorgon legs, which is a huge win. And then we also have the Weasel Man, Peter Pettigrew, and of course the Rat Scabbers that he transforms into. Really cool scene. This actually kind of scared me when I was a kid watching Prisoner of Azkaban, but those are solid minifigures and a big reason why I love this set. The interior honestly is nothing too crazy. On the very bottom floor here you have a silver chest, a sand green chair in the right corner of the room, as well as some cool tiled paintings and a lantern, other cool things like that. And then as you go towards the second floor, you have again some very standard things. You have a piano, which looks really good. You have the chimney, as well as again some more details and stuff. So the interior is not anything crazy. I think where the set particularly shines is the exterior and just the overall aesthetic. Now there are some fun things here. We do have the Whomping Willow, which is constructed really well in this sort of little smaller vignette styled section of the build. Also is a pretty cool play feature with this guy. There's a little knob here on the back which turns the branches of the Whomping Willow into 360 and pretty fast, which is kind of cool. So if you have the car from 4 Privet Drive, you could probably just throw that in there, which I think would look really cool. And then you also have a glow-in-the-dark moon. Of course, a big scene in this movie slash book is, of course, when Professor Lupin changes into the werewolf. Now, you can't really see this on camera well, but it is a completely glow-in-the-dark piece, and there is a function to transform Lupin into the werewolf, which is really sweet, and I could see a lot of fun playing with the set, especially if I was a kid. I think this set is so amazing because it has everything that you would think when it comes to this particular scene, including the characters, including the detail, and including all the play functions, which is definitely why I love this set so much. Yeah, I like it. That's cool. Next, we're getting on some of the bigger sets here. This is the Ministry of Magic, retailing for $99.99, 76403, 990 pieces, tons of minifigures. And let me tell you, the build was a little bit disappointing, but the minifigures definitely make up for a lot of my complaints about this set. The first 3 minifigures here, we have Albert Runcorn, Mafalda Hopkirk, and Reg Cattermole. These are the 3 people that the iconic trio transform into to sneak into the Ministry. And what's really cool about these minifigures is their faces are double-sided with the actual character they have. So you can flip that face around, and there also are extra hair pieces, so you can actually have them transformed back into their regular self as if they're still dressed up as their counterparts, which I thought was really cool. So those are really cool features of the set. Next, we have Dolores Umbridge and Yaxley, probably 2 of the most evil villains I've ever seen in Harry Potter, as well as Dolores Umbridge Patronus in a really cool mold. Really cool minifigures. Of course, Dolores has the iconic pinkness, and then Yaxley looks pretty fierce and pretty menacing in pretty much this all black suit with this sort of neutral color tie stuff going on underneath, which looks awesome. And then you have Mary Cattermole, Arthur Weasley, and Pius Thickness. All great minifigures. No like printing on Pius and Mr. Weasley, which I was a little bit disappointed about, but when you take into account that there are this many minifigures included in the set, I think that's something we can kind of brush over. And then there also is included a Dementor. Nothing particularly new or interesting about this Dementor. It is the same one we've seen for the past couple of waves so far, but does look super cool. So the entire construction of the set is basically separated into 2 different parts, but first we'll talk about some of the smaller ones. On the bottom left here, you guys can see the red telephone booth. This is how they first get into the Ministry of Magic, so definitely I feel like there is a level of iconicness and importantess when it comes to including different things like that. There are, of course, other methods of getting into the actual Ministry, which we'll get into in a second. There also is going to be this sort of middle fountain here that is slightly different than what you've seen in the movies. It does use a gold minifigure with a couple of cool details, and then it's basically surrounded by some 3x3 curved bricks, and I believe dark green. Then you have different pieces on the bottom to represent the water and other cool details like that. This fountain does look very different in the movies from what I remember. But now moving on to the main bulk of the build here, let's talk about some of the rooms and details. We do have some of the flying paper sort of planes, I guess, for the newspapers, which are from the movie, which I thought was really cool. Now this bottom part here is sort of the newspaper area, and there is a really cool play feature where you can fling the newspapers just like in the movie. There's a little back part right here. All you do is click it, push it forward, and they will actually go just like flying, like shooting out, which is a really cool play feature. And you can see the back construction of a lot of the rooms here on the right side of the Ministry. Right here you do have the Hall of Prophecies, which is something really cool that I wasn't expecting from Order of the Phoenix, but there's a really cool play feature where all the shelves can fall over, which is, I believe, caused by a spell from Ginny in the movies, at least from what I can remember. So that was really cool to see. I didn't expect to see something like that in the set. And at the very top here, you do have Arthur Weasley's office. Now, I actually didn't know what this was when I built it. However, the rubber duck. That's the one that gave it away. So that was a really cool piece to get. Now, starting with the second floor, on the other side here, you have Dolores Umbridge's office. It comes with a couple of cat pictures. Of course, you know her obsession with cats, and a pink room. Very iconic. She does also have her cup of tea and all that kind of stuff. Pretty terrifying room, if I'm being honest. Never think pink looks so terrifying, but there is nice detail in her office. And the very top floor here is the courtroom. Now, this one is a little weird because it is a really tight fit. Not necessarily something I was expecting in the set, but the courtroom is there. Now, there's a really cool play feature. We said earlier, we discussed the telephone and how you can kind of get into the ministry. This is also going to be a similar function. You put a minifigure on the flat facing side of it. All you have to do is pull the lever in the back, and it's kind of like they're transporting to and from the ministry, which is really cool. So you'll see the play feature here, and all of a sudden they are gone, they've disappeared, all that kind of stuff. So again, cool play features that are included in this set. I was a little bit disappointed by this set because I thought it was going to be a little bigger, a little more involved, but I realized for $100 coming with, I think, 8 or even 9 minifigures, this definitely makes up for it. The two columns of the ministry are sort of conjoined by this larger piece right here in the middle that connects them. There also is a banner and some really cool light transparent green pieces, which the whole idea of green in the color palette here in the ministry is, I think, probably my favorite, other than being the first set to introduce the dark green masonry brick. So of course the mock builder in me is geeking out a little bit over this one. Overall, it's a solid set. The build itself was slightly disappointing, but there are fun play features and a huge plethora of minifigures. And the last set we're going to be talking about today is 12 Grimmauld Place from the Order of the Phoenix. This is set number 76408, 1,083 pieces, $120 here in the US. Now, this is definitely one of my favorite sets here because it is a building. I think I have definitely a natural attraction to maybe some of the buildings and modulars and stuff like that in Lego. So immediately the architecture and the different colors is nice. Now, the middle part is represented by the darker neutral colors, and the regular apartments that we see numbered from 11 and 13 are going to be the sort of lighter nougat colors, the more realistic real life things that we get to see, which is a nice differentiation between the two. But there are some great details in the minifigures here. Going left to right, we have Kingsley, Harry Potter, and Tonks, three of my actually favorite characters of the entire series. They each come with a broomstick because obviously that is how they got there. I do want to say Kingsley looks amazing in his fit. I love it. Tonks does come with a red hairpiece as well, so of course you can interchange and change the hairpiece depending on which way you want to display it, which I thought was super fun. Now, the other minifigures here, we of course have Fred, George, Ron, Mrs. Weasley, and of course the cat. I gotta be honest, I don't know which one's Fred and which one's George, but I'm sure you guys can differentiate that for yourself. Pretty cool. I like how they all look very similar because of course they all are in the same family. And then you also have the two favorite minifigures for me. You have Sirius Black in like this olive green jacket, and then Creature for the first time, which looks absolutely fantastic. The play feature of Grimmauld Place is definitely where the set shines. You could basically push forward and back the actual Order of the Phoenix headquarters, and it gets completely covered by the regular houses. All you have to do is sort of push each of these houses to the side or push the actual building forward or back. It's a very smooth and seamless process. You can see the different L pieces and Technic arms involved in the back to make this function work, but what I love about it is that regardless of how you display it, it looks very smooth, which is an absolute win in my book. Now, the interior is also jam-packed with lots of cool detail, and you can recreate so many different iconic scenes from the movie, which is super fantastic. You have a bedroom on the top right floor, and then you also have a stickered tree of the Black family tree, which I thought was so cool to have that finally as a sticker in my collection. So that was super awesome. On the top floor here, you have some weird stuff, which I'm not entirely sure what that is, but you got some skeleton heads in bowls. I don't know, some probably weird witchcraft stuff. On the middle floor here, you have the piano, which we've seen a couple of times. You got two seats right there, so of course, if you want to have your favorite couple playing the piano, you certainly can. On the top left here, we have another bed with some upside down bats, and then a tile for Gryffindor. Not entirely sure what that room is. In the middle here, you have another room with a couch, and then some other cool play features right here on the bottom here with the main dining room area, which comes with different newspapers, mugs, all the sort of kitchen utensils and cabinets that you could possibly imagine. And then on either side of the arms, there are going to also be chandeliers and other cool details packed on either side. So this is definitely one of my favorite sets for sure of the entire wave, not only because Order of the Phoenix is my favorite movie, but I think for what you're paying for and what you're getting in terms of minifigures, display value, and play value, this is absolutely the best one. So thank you guys for watching my review of all the June Harry Potter sets coming out. Definitely hope you guys enjoy. A little bit of a faster based review. I'm sure there are other creators who will have more in-depth individual reviews, but here on the Star Wars channel, I feel like we wanted to do every sort of set in one video. Hope you guys enjoyed. Drop a like if you did and subscribe, and I'll see you later. Take it easy. Peace.